As if it wasn't bad enough, me putting on lip gloss on the YouTube live feed, I decided to do a little dancing and singing there for you. If you have not heard, 99.5 is now on YouTube. You can check us out in case it's not enough for you to hear us talking. You can see us talking on the YouTube. Yesterday, I went on and was even chatted with one or two of the listeners. You can do that. I'm not on there now. I will actually jump on there. I am so excited. I don't know why I'm saying 500 times. Uh, so excited to have Paul DeMarco join us. He's on the line now. Paul, you've done a lot of radio with me. One of my favorite guests for when I'm filling in. How are you doing today?
Happy New Year's to you and your listeners today.
Happy New
Eve.
Year's. I am in Homewood, and you are like Mr. Homewood. When I think of Homewood, you're who I think of because you're so incredibly active here. Now, where the studio is, right around the corner from the Homewood Police Department, which, by the way, I love because I feel incredibly safe. I don't know that I'd feel good about walking in and out of the studio at night or once it gets dark, but being right around from the Homewood PD helps a lot.
Great. They're led by Chief Tim Ross and just a great bunch of men and women who very professional, do a great job, and we're appreciative of all of them, and appreciative for all those who've worked Christmas, New Year's. So you're exactly right.
I did a story yesterday. There was another arson at the Homewood Walmart. I think it might even still be closed today. There was a notice up on their Facebook that they were closed. There was smoke damage. Homewood PD right on top of it. I got a statement. Lieutenant, let's see, Sergeant Mark Tripp got a statement out nearly immediately that they're investigating. They've got the videos. Based on my experience watching them earlier this year catch the the BLM activists that started a fire there, that did arson there. I feel pretty confident they're going to get down to the bottom of this one.
Oh, I am as well. And look, these type of incidents, setting fires at Walmart,
And
where you could
crazy.
have well, look at the amount of a lot of property damage, but people could have been injured and killed when you set a fire in a place like this where you have lots of individuals. And I know the first fire, I think there were federal
Yeah, no,
terrorism
there
charges
was.
in
There were
addition to
there
arson.
was federal arson charges and federal terrorism charges, and it was all based on the investigation by Homewood PD. They were able to sort it all out, get all the details, lay it all out, and the feds came in and were able to make a case.
Well, I think what needs to happen is the Alabama legislature this upcoming session, and I've already talked to some folks, need to increase and stiffen the penalties for these type of crimes here in Alabama because again they used federal charges, but we should make sure that you should be able to file state charges that are just as stiff as the federal charges.
Here's the thing: is there is absolutely of all the crimes, violent crimes, are particularly horrendous. But you got people messing around in these crowded stores, literally starting fires, not knowing how many people can or will be hurt. It's dangerous, and that we got to put a stop to that.
Yeah, and let me just tell you again, we don't need to wait till someone is killed or injured. Again,
Yep.
they need to whoever has both times the first set and this group arrested, prosecuted to the full extent of the law, so that it is shown out there. If you do something like this, you're going to spend a lot of days in prison.
Yep. No, zero tolerance. I absolutely agree with you. I was looking online earlier, as I do before each show, kind of getting ready for the show, and you have written a column that's on the Trustville Tribune, kind of looking back at headlines of big things that have happened in Alabama in 25. And I want to take an opportunity to go through some of that list with you and also look at what you think should happen and is going to happen next year. Uh, you talk about both the federal, and I have talked a lot about President Trump and the big changes we've seen that have been good for the state and the nation. You talk about Space Command. That's a big one.
Yeah, so there's a lot of big stories out of Alabama this past year, but one of them ties to President Donald Trump and, what he has meant to the state of Alabama. You're right. First of all, look at the United States Space Command. I mean, that has been years in the making. It was the United States Air Force did the nationwide search. They really narrowed it down to several states, including Alabama, Colorado Springs, where they are now. But the Biden administration put it on hold. But ultimately, the decision was made to put it in Alabama, in Madison County, and that's a big deal. And
that is a big deal.
It further cements Alabama's significance when it comes to national security. I mean, we have obviously the bases that we have here with Fort Rucker and Maxwell Air Force Base and the Redstone Arsenal, but to have the United States Space Command here, again, just shows how incredibly important our state is when it comes to national security.
Okay. Yeah, that's big. There was an announcement within the last couple of weeks that Fannie Mae is moving their offices to Birmingham. That's a big get for the area.
Yeah, Birmingham for decades was, one of the financial centers of the Southeast, and then as we started losing a lot of these corporate offices for banks, it went down. But now, as Senator Tuberville and Senator Britt talked about, this moving here, this will really be important, and again, hopefully bring back some of the financial institutions back to the Birmingham Hoover metro region. And so that's another big move made during the Trump administration to help Alabama.
Yeah, when I was looking through and kind of cataloging Trump's success and Alabama's role in some of that one wasn't even on my radar, but those are very important, just the economic development side of it, the showing Alabama can be a player on the national stage. Space Command is huge. Of course, the Biden administration tried to play political football with that, and at the last minute, we're not going to put it in Alabama. Why would we put it in a deep red state? We're going to move it to Colorado. But we were able to get it back, and it looks like that's going to go through. We've also seen some unsettling criminal justice things here in the state. You talk in your column about what happened in Bibb County. I am incredibly pro-life, and that's across the board. But I'll tell you, straight to the wood chipper. And I don't. Dale Jackson said that got in trouble, but I tell you what was going on, the human trafficking of those children, frightening.
Yeah, that was one of the terrible stories we saw that happened this past year. And again, I know there's talk about how to stiffen penalties against these child predators.
I know I'm not supposed to be pro-death penalty. I get it. I know it to my bones. Pope, no pro-death. But I'll tell you what, if ever there was a case where the death penalty should be on the table, and Florida's already instituted it, these child predators, these human traffickers, absolutely.
Well, it needs. I believe there's some legislation for that as well as for, and it needs to pass this session. No reason to put that off, and so you'll see that will be one of the bills I believe that will come up, and hopefully we'll see approved this upcoming legislative session.
Well, we started this conversation talking about Homewood PD, but our first responders around the state, our first responders around the country, look at what's happened with ICE. They need our support. I just wholeheartedly, I think we have seen law enforcement undermined. We have seen prosecutions undermined and these slap on the wrist sentences. Most recently, we've started seeing the parole board, pardons and paroles, let people free that I'm a little unsure about. I think we need to do what we can to shore up the walls of our criminal justice system.
Well, that was another one of the bigger stories, unfortunately, was Lee Gwaltney was the chair of the parole board. After the reforms were made by in 2019, and she was probably one of the most professional, best chairs of that board, and really put the criminal justice system, put crime victims and the justice system first. And she was not reappointed, and there's just a real concern from prosecutors, law enforcement, crime victims advocates, the direction the parole board is heading now. So that was one of the another unfortunate stories when it came to the criminal justice system in 2025.
Yeah, and you put that on my radar. We talk about it just about every time you and I get together on the radio to talk. We need to make sure that we continue, and it's not a Republican thing or a Democrat thing. It's safe communities is an everybody thing. And somehow, over the course of the last several years, just along one of those another issues, the left has hijacked. Oh, it's heartless and cruel. Bail is no bail is heartless and cruel. These stiff sentences. What about the victims? What about the victims' loved ones and the families? Like, it was cruel for these things to have happened, to these children or to the individuals who were killed by those who are now being let out. We got to get back to understanding tough on crime works.
Well, again, we've seen time and time again where the bad guys get released and commit some of these really violent felons and commit more violent felonies. You just saw one, I think it was in Connecticut. A guy had been arrested 40 times, got out again, or was just on the streets and killed someone. I mean, the story happens over and over, and unfortunately, it happens here in Alabama as well.
It's not okay. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. I've got Paul DeMarco on the line, one of my dear friends and greatest political minds here in the Central Alabama area. You guys hold tight. More in just a minute. Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Look, I'm trying to find like good '90s party country music. 'Cause, you know, it's New Year's Eve, right? We got to celebrate a closing of one chapter and the beginning of a new chapter.
Yeah. Do you want to know the way that what I search up on my phone, how I get my playlist?
How
I
you-
do pick a year, whatever it is, and then do workout playlist, and then you get the upbeat from that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get the like happy.
Yeah, but they all seem like they kind of sound the same after a while.
That's true of most any genre of music.
It's like the one person that broke through radio airplays is like, oh, we need to mimic and copy that.
Yeah, that's.
And then every song from that era just sounds just like an off
I
version
don't know. You
of the
haven't
original.
played any Shania Twain yet. We had Dixie
I
Chicks
did.
yesterday.
Didn't I? I know I played some Shania Twain. I think maybe I did.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
we did. I got Shania Twain, George Strait, Travis Tritt.
Well, I did
Brooks and
play.
Dunn.
I did play some Brooks and Dunn. I just played Brooks and Dunn right
Was that
now.
My Maria?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just did Brooks and Dunn.
I'm trying. Well, I'm just naming. Paul DeMarco, what kind of music do you listen to?
Let me pull them.
Well, hold on. I got to push.
Yeah.
He's got to push a button. Paul, what kind of music do you listen to?
A little bit of everything, but I do like country music, but a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we're over here. For my Christmas gift, my new beginning of the new year gift, AJ is switching out some of the bumper music for me. So we've got some '90s country, early 2000s country happening here. It brings joy to my heart.
There you go. There you go. Into the new year.
Into the new year. All right. So we've talked a little bit about some of the bigger stories, some good news, some bad news, a lot of room to grow. Looking into 2026. Now you are involved in, and I should back up here because I just got a text that put it on my radar. You're like me. You're involved at a very local level. I mean, I got involved not only in city stuff, but in municipal stuff, but also in my own neighborhood, beating back insane development that was being proposed there. But you're involved very local level, state, and keeping up on the federal news. What you hope to see this year in 2026?
Well, look, it is for the state level. It's an election year, so obviously we're going to be watching the elections in Alabama. So that'll be the first, I guess, from a political viewpoint. And are we going to have candidates that get elected that are have the courage and the sense of urgency to do what's right for the citizens of the state of Alabama, first and foremost. I mean, we have seen some of that. I mean, we talked about 25. One of the bigger stories, I guess, for the region was the reform of the Birmingham Waterworks.
Oh, yeah, Central Alabama Water
Board. Give credit to Representative Jim Carnes. He and I have worked on that for 20 years.
Wow.
To get that done. When I was there, I drafted legislation, worked with Senator Wagner, and that was a big deal. That's been decades in the coming to reform that board.
Yep. And I love, and here's the thing, for those who aren't paying attention, I have been writing about it for 1819 News. The Central Alabama Water is the new board. And bottom lining it, they went from a Birmingham-centric to, look, there are customers all over the area. It's now a regional board with representation in different counties. And that new board is putting in place, first off, they're having to clean up a ginormous mess. And then they're also putting in place policies, no-brainers. Like if it doesn't directly impact the customers, if they don't get a direct benefit from it, we're not paying for it. They've had some really good reforms with that new board.
So we need those type of elected officials who are willing to take on the tough issues. Trust me, taking that on was difficult because of the decades of problems and just built-in and money. So I hope I see that from a political perspective. From the state of Alabama, I mean, you have to look back at this past year. We talked about some of the U.S. Space Command, Fannie Mae, but from an economic development, it has also been a good year for Alabama from top to bottom. You saw the Lilly plant being built up in Madison County. I think it's a $6 billion plant. You look at Mobile, the new dredging. We have the deepest port in the Gulf of America now, and that's going to be more commerce coming into Alabama. So, Alabama has continued to attract new businesses. We need to make sure we take care of small businesses as well that hire most of the people. So I think we need to continue to do a great job with attracting new businesses and companies, but make sure we look at what rules and regulations to get out of the way so our small businesses can thrive in
thrive.
Alabama in 2026.
Yep. Now you're right here in Homewood. Homewood's seeing a new form of government this year, coming off of this last municipal elections. The city council has gone to a smaller size.
Changing to change city manager form of government, which I'm excited about that. Other cities, successful cities, you see this form of government. It was just like the problems we had with Jefferson County before we changed it to a county manager form of government. It was left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. It just political, basically backyard. Don't get in my backyard. But we changed the form of government and look at Jefferson County since then. So glad to see we did that at the local level. And again, you can look across the board in the region. A lot of governments that work well with a city manager.
And y'all got the Mountain Brook city manager to come out of retirement and help kind of lead the way there.
Yeah, Sam Gaston is an institution when it comes to city municipal government. He's stepping in, helping the city of Homewood. He did a great job for 31 plus years in Mountain Brook.
Tell our listeners where they can find you, Paul, and where they can find your writing. Trustville Tribune. Where else can they find you online?
X at Paul_DeMarco.
Got it. Thank you, and Happy New Year, Paul. I appreciate you taking the time to give us a call.
Take care. Thank y'all. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right, we're going to take a quick break. April Marie here for Leland. Back in a second. Oh, I will
Don't stop. Don't stop with the lip singing.
She kissed me on the school bus and told me not to tell. This is the good old days. This is good music right here.
This is small town Florida type of vibe.
This is small town everywhere. Teacher took it. I read what she wrote. I won't do that. All right. Hi, everyone. April Marie here, hurting your ears. If you are watching on the live stream, you are more than welcome to laugh. I ran and got a water. I actually, on the way back, I'd stopped running in the hallway. I was afraid someone was going to get me. By the way, I think we're the only ones here, AJ. Are we the only?
Welcome to my life.
I haven't seen a soul.
Welcome to my life.
Except AJ. Oh, no, I take it back. You were in there talking to somebody. When before Andrew's show, there was somebody in the studio next door.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's here. Somebody else here.
There was one other person in the building.
Yeah.
But no, it's just us. But I started walking back, and then I thought, I already did that once to AJ today, where I was not in front of the mic and prepared. I hadn't even. Well, it's funny because I left my headphones here, and I don't know. So there's been almost no one in the building, and somehow they still got broken or came, knocked around or something. So I started the show with like one headphone. It's good times. That was Paul DeMarco, who is literally one of my favorite people. Incredibly knowledgeable, former state representative, incredibly active here in Homewood and throughout this. Seriously, if I don't know how he does it, because I will look and I'll see him doing a Hoover Chamber event and then a Mountain Brook ribbon cutting. He's just everywhere. And always knowledgeable about what's going on. Incredibly supportive, as am I. I have become, I've always been a back the blue. If you haven't heard me say this before, I was a police explorer when I was a teenager. AJ, have you ever heard of the Explorer program?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they gave me a little uniform with a little badge. I say little badge. It was really cute. It was as awkward as you can get. Earlier today, we were talking about being nerdy. I don't know that you get any nerdier than spending your weekends directing traffic at high school football games, and yet there I was. And so, but I will say the Titusville Police Department had for years such a good Police Explorer program and we continually won the state competition. Yes, there's a competition that the year before I joined, we won, and they were like, "Hey, can you guys take it down a notch?" And we ended up being volunteers instead of competing, so that another Police Explorer troop could win the trophy. But I say all this to say, a huge fan of law enforcement. You will rarely find me with any criticism, though we'll talk about a bad apple if one comes up. But the way that the Homewood Police Department has handled the protest and the completely insane response to the officer-involved shooting. That was self-defense 100% from the minute it happened. There was no question, zero question, and yet there were still people here mainly from out of town, stopping traffic, causing problems, stopping city council meetings, all the things. And then later, when everything did come, demanding the video, demanding the officer's name, the police department handled it with such professionalism and grace, way more than I should, by the way, because I was like, this is ridiculous. You guys are ridiculous. All of you protesters who know exactly what happened and are spreading lies, and get a healthy hobby. Earlier we were talking about homelessness and community service. Imagine if everybody who showed up to a protest, one of the stupid ones. I feel like there are protests that are okay, and then there are protests that are literally stupid. Okay, like what are you out here protesting? You're out here protesting somebody protecting their own life. How about you get out there and get in the communities and you help young men understand, understand they can contribute to society, understand they can live long and healthy lives. They can be productive members of society. Anyway, Paul is incredibly supportive of business in this area, all the things, and I'm incredibly grateful to call him a friend. All right, it is 4:39 this afternoon. We did the Texas crazy small town news story. Are you ready for another one?
Oh, yes,
Crazy
I'm ready.
2025. A Frenchtown broke the record, the world record, for the number of Smurfs in one area at one time. By the way, I don't know if you've ever have recently gotten a Guinness Book of World Records.
Mhm.
People do world records for the weirdest, craziest stuff.
Yeah, like someone who holds their breath for like 30 minutes.
You're-
You'd be like, really?
Like that,
This-
no.
no, I think that's called death.
That would lead, and people trying to break that record.
Yeah.
But a small town in western France set the world record in May of 2025 for the greatest number of Smurf costumed people gathered in the same place. They counted over 3,000 people.
I would have lost count after like 20 because.
Well, here's the thing is like, who decides this? Like, okay, here's what we're going to do in Vestavia Hills. We're going to gather everyone that we can get together, and we're going to have you paint your faces blue and put on, like, I'm telling you. It was 3,076 people clad and face painted in blue, wearing white hats and singing, this is a quote, I'm not making this up, Smurfy songs. We smurfed the record, said one participant. Smurfs, I can't. There's like a name. This is like the My Little Pony crowd, or I don't know if y'all saw the whole Lulu. There's a, what is the new doll? The Lulu. It's the little creepy demon look doll that everybody's collecting this year.
I have no idea.
Oh, I got there. It's a whole thing. It was on the top Googled things. But no, like this is on the list of crazy things to happen this year. Someone broke the Smurf record, and all I want to know is, why is there a Smurf record? Like, do you not have anything better? I guess entertaining. It's fun and entertaining, but good to know that that record was broken. By the way, the first town, it looks like the town tied in 2020, missed the record due to a technicality. Came back and did it again.
Are you talking about those little troll dolls?
Yeah, well, I know, but the new ones are Lulu. There's a name for them.
There's always coming out with something new every year. I don't know. I haven't like really got into all that stuff yet, so I can't tell you.
It is kind of crazy. I tell you what. What are the new dolls, Lulu? There's a name for them. They're baby demonic dolls that everybody's collecting.
Baby
right now.
demonic dolls.
They look like little devils. I don't know. It's gonna bug me, and I'm gonna have to look it up for. And my kids don't own any. I think they're kind of ridiculous. It's gonna come to me during the commercial break. Somebody call me if you know somebody collecting.
Not
these.
Furbies, are you?
No. Oh, but I remember the Furbies.
I remember Furbies.
Do you remember it? So I think the only thing I really participated in was the Beanie Baby craze. And we were told
Oh yeah, everybody was collecting those things and
thinking they were somehow going to be an investment.
now some of them were a lot of money, but it's really just like artwork. It's just it's all in the eyes of the beholder. How much does something really cost?
So my son, they've got these new ones called Pom Pals, and they're just little stuffed animals. My son does love those things, and so I told a friend of mine, I have a dear friend in Tallahassee, Florida. And she had collected the Beanie Babies, and I was like, he collects these things that are like Beanie Babies, and so she sent him a bunch, and they're now in my room. They're now on my bookcase in my room. But no, that's not a thing. I'm gonna figure out the name of the creepy little dolls kids are collecting now.
They have like the little teeth that come. They're like on keychains or something like that.
It starts with an L. It's gonna. I'm again back to yesterday's conversation of me not being in any way knowledgeable about pop culture. All right, when we come back, I'm going to take a break here in a second. I'm going to figure out what the creepy dolls are. When we come back, I'm going to go to the other crazy stories of this news cycle this year. Some of the big headlines. Paul DeMarco had mentioned it, and it's
LOL surprise.
No.
Dang. Okay.
What are the creepy?
I'm sorry. I know you're trying. Labubu dolls.
That's it. Labubu. Labubu.
Oh, yeah, they had a little. Yeah, that's what I was talking
cre-
about with the weird
Do
teeth.
they have
looking
weird teeth?
Yeah.
I don't
They're
know.
They're collecting these things.
Oh, there's a whole crew. Labubu.
Yeah, they're like furries because they dress like bunnies, but then they have like this creepy looking face. They either look like frogs or bunny rabbits or.
I don't know. Yeah, they do have funky teeth. and you can get them on keychains. You can get them Labubu. Ah, the word was on the tip of my tongue, and I couldn't get it out. But yes, they're creepy and looking a little. They're monster dolls. Who wants to have their kids collect monster dolls?
I mean, people used to collect troll dolls with the little
those
gems.
were cute though, and the big thing with those was the playing with their hair. I'm over here just doing my hands in the little troll hair. I can picture it now. All right, when we come back, I've got a couple topics on deck. One is we're gonna talk about a little bit about the upcoming elections here in Alabama in 2026. We're going to talk a little bit about crazy headlines. I was going to tell you so as I was picking out which headphone thing to print you, my daughter had on her headphones, and she went to take them off because we were like trying to figure out this. She whacked herself in the face, so like they bounced back on her and hit her in the face. Mom of the year over here, without even stopping to ask how she was, I fell out laughing. It was a situation yesterday, but my daughter did that, and I was like, oh, I got to tell AJ because that was about his response to my New York City dropping 2 balls. Like I fell out, he fell out. It was a whole thing. All right, we're gonna come back. We're gonna get to all these headlines. We'll take your calls if you want to call. Text. Go ahead and you can text to AJ if you got anything to say. Back in a minute. You're listening to Leland Live with April Marie. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Almost evening, 4:50. We are running down the clock on this year.
Should we do like a countdown to the end of the show?
A countdown, yes. 1 hour and 10 minutes. 1 hour and 10
1
minutes.
hour and 10 minutes. Woo!
Well, then you've got another hour.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's what's said for this show.
Yeah, for this
and
show.
Then, I still have a whole
But
another hour.
y'all count down. Y'all get to like sign off the last of Live 99.5 for the year. You get to say goodbye.
Yeah.
It'll be goodbye, AJ.
Goodbye, 2025.
Goodbye, 2025. I like to point out, so I have because I am using the 3D printer as much as my son at my house, I've got the app on my computer and on my phone. Apparently, he printed something that just failed. He's gonna be sad about that. We've only had a couple fails in all the time. One of them was I put the wrong filament in and it wouldn't feed. It was a whole situation. Everything kept failing on that. I took the spool off, changed the color, went from red to navy, and now things are printing just fine. But I'll have to text him during the commercial break and see what his problem is. I know just enough about technology to be dangerous. So if I can do minor repairs, I can do, fix minor glitches with computers. I can do minor things. So that has turned into my my role at the house. Can't fix the cabinet, although I do have the phone number for that. Thank you for that, AJ. I do have a phone number for that, but I can fix minor things. All right, April Marie here, filling in for Leland. I started. Paul DeMarco brought up so many good things. I don't even know where to start, but he mentioned the 2026 Alabama elections, and I feel like it's a good thing we got an opportunity to breathe a little bit coming out of the municipal elections and coming into the statewide and legislative races. And then it's going to be, off to the races come the start of the next year. Governor, we're going to have Tommy Tuberville rematch against Doug Jones. Doug Jones, local guy. Here's the thing is when he first ran and went to the U.S. Senate, he acted like he was going to be a moderate. And we love our Alabama Democrat moderates, don't get me wrong. They're just a dying breed. There's not a lot of them. And he gets to Washington, D.C., and becomes one of, just goes along with everything the Democrats want. Started sounding like a whole different person, not a blue dog Democrat. I think it's really hard. I talked about the big umbrella that is the Republican Party and us calling out our own crazies. I have no problem calling out people on our side of the aisle who are actually not the liberal kind of SPLC definition of hateful, but actually hateful. I'll call those people out all day, every day. Candace Owens, complete whack job. If you disagree with me, sorry, you're wrong. This is a woman who is terrorizing a widow. This is a woman who routinely makes things up because her gut told her to. These are not good people. Nick Fuentes and his anti-Semitism, his vile comments about JD's wife, all the things, terrible people. On the left, they like to just pretend their crazies are okay. They're crazies who can't tell the difference between a boy and a girl. They're crazies who want to infringe on your First Amendment rights and your Second Amendment rights. They want to take away your money, to give everybody their fair share. The left tends not to worry about their own side and just act like it's okay. Doug Jones, I believe, could have done so much more for the state of Alabama, not ended his career so quickly, had he not gone along with everything the Democrats said, but he did. And so that's no go. We're going to have, hopefully, Governor Tommy Tuberville, who's going to come in and do a lot of what Trump, my expectations are pretty big, that he takes from the page of Donald Trump's second term, where he came in and said, we're gonna just shake up the establishment. Donald Trump's first term was good. Don't get me wrong. There were some good things they were able to do, Donald Trump's first term. But his second term has been more forceful, more, we don't care what you say. We're going to pay attention to results, not pay attention to what the media is saying. We're gonna take these No Kings protest and the media stuff in stride and call a joke, and really get things done. That is what I am hopeful for Tuberville. That is what I am hopeful for Montgomery. It's been a long time since we had the kind of shakeup I think we need there. I wrote about the ALDOT director, talked about that yesterday. This current ALDOT director, Alabama Department of Transportation, has been just had so much controversy over the years. It's a Bentley appointment. Kay Ivey held him over. Has really proven to be just a hot mess over there. When Tommy Tuberville gets in, I expect him to clean house. Across the board, a lot of these cabinet appointments, a lot of the baked-in establishment staffers who have been there had it their way for a number of years. I've said you can't fairly criticize Joe Biden and the auto pen presidency without looking at Alabama and going, where has Governor Kay Ivey been? As we've had other governors look at a DeSantis who has done things the right way for years. There is no excuse for Florida, which in some areas is pretty darn purple or blue, Florida to be leading the way on school choice, to be leading the way on getting their colleges and universities under control, on gubernatorial appointments. I still to this day get press releases. I get the governor's schedule, the governor and lieutenant governor's schedule for Florida. Our governor will go off here in Alabama, will go off the map, off the radar for weeks at a time. No idea what she's doing. And then when she does pop back up, she's just shaking hands at a ribbon cutting instead of out there taking on the tough issues. I think we're going to get and see better out of Tommy Tuberville. Also, races to watch, the lieutenant governor's race. That one's interesting. We saw A.J. McCarron pop in and then pop out of that race. I don't think that field is set. It's going to be really interesting to watch there. Had Derek Chin on yesterday running for state auditor. The auditor and Secretary of State, the Agriculture Commissioner, PSC, those tend not to get a lot of attention outside of a 1819 or a Real Talk 99.5, but they're races you should pay attention to because they do impact our state. I think it's going to be really interesting to see the Caroline Dobson versus, and I say her name wrong, Caroline. I want to call her Carolyn. I don't know. But Caroline Dobson versus Andrew Sorrell. Both two pretty strong conservatives with Republican and conservative bona fides. It'll be interesting to watch them face off. The Attorney General's race is an interesting one to watch. And, of course, the race for Senator Tommy Tuberville's seat. Attorney General Steve Marshall has been incredible. It's funny because he really didn't do the press the way that a lot of politicians in the state do his early years. And I wasn't sure what to think of him. And then when he came out, when he started really coming out strong about what his office was doing, and he started standing with parents for parental rights, started standing with kids for to fight off the gender ideology stuff, started really standing up for the Second Amendment. I started being a really big Steve Marshall fan. That race is going to be one to watch. Jared Hudson has a lot of strong support here in this area. I don't know him as well. I've met him in person once, interviewed him a couple of times. But as I fill in on 95.95, I'll continue to interview these candidates and talk about these 2026 races because I think it's really important that we do that. Okay, as I kind of round out this hour and round out this show, we've got a phone call, but you're going to have to stay on the line because we're going to head to a commercial break here in a few minutes. Somebody on the line to talk, Candace Owens. Oh, I like that because I have so much to say about this lady. Oh, my. And I try not to be ugly. I try not to be mean. But Candace, oh, she's on my list. I tell you what, there's asking questions, and then there's just terrorizing people, harassing people, and really doing all you can for clicks and followers. And I am not okay with that. That is not the same thing. That is not acceptable. All right. Back in a minute. You've got April Marie here filling in for Leland. Stay tuned.